up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. This is season 13, episode 1, and I got a feeling that this season might be a lot of fun. So let's get into it. All right, y'all, so let's get into this review. I know I'm late. Reviews are probably going to be coming out late. It's a lot going on right now. But let's talk about it. So the episode opens up. It gives us the huge super trailer. They talk about Mauricio and Kyle splitting. So we know that's going to be a huge storyline for Kyle this season. But the episode really officially opens up with PK and Dorit's house. You got PK eating chips out of 2 bags. He eating barbecue and sour cream and onion. 2 of my favorite types of chips. Now, I didn't have a problem with him mixing, but him digging in both bags, I was like, bro, get you a bowl and put them in there. Because that's what I normally do if I want both. We see Dorit. I think Dorit looks really pretty with this darker hair. I feel like it makes her look younger, but she looks great. She looks great. So we find out that they gonna have some spiritual healing named Eagle Woman and Blue Raven come and help facilitate a Ponderosa / retreat for the ladies. So Eagle Woman comes over. PK looking at her up and down. And mind you, I would do the same. Because it's given we playing in people's cultures. And I don't like it. It really is. I was like, and it low-key kind of gave. Well, we'll talk about that when we get to the retreat site. But she comes in, we meet the girl. I think she said her name was like Vanessa or something, but the apprentice name, I guess, is Blue Raven. But they sit down. PK is like, should I call you Eagle Woman or Eagle Woman? I said, PK, stop being stupid. Sit down. Sit down. So they sit down, and Dorit pretty much says, like, you know, I want to have a retreat for the ladies. I want to get us in a good space. We had a lot going on last year for all of us, and I want us to be in a better space. PK sitting on the other end of the couch like, girl, your friends are weird. Y'all are weird. And Eagle Woman says, you know, I'm a healer and I'm ready for this. So pretty much we find out that Dorit but she texts everyone and says, hey, would you guys all be down to do a retreat? Everyone's like, cool, we can have a Ponderosa, shout out to Jackie Christie, and talk about our issues. So we then see a montage of everyone being like, girl, this better not be no trust fall, no team building, me climbing up a ropes and ladder type stuff, because I'm not with it. So they get there. We see Kyle is the first one to get there. We end up seeing Garcel and Sutton in the car driving up there, and they both like, girl, what is this mess? Garcel's like, I'm gonna try my best to be open, but I don't know. So they finally get there. Everyone's hugging. We see Crystal for like 2 seconds. Crystal, I hope you put in your work later on in the season, because they did not show you. So we see them. Everyone's talking. We find out that Sutton bought a horse on the other side of the world that she that she don't get to have. Like, I don't understand, Sutton. There's a bunch of horses here in America that you could have got that would have been able to be driven to you, but you got one across the pond. So everyone's giggling and kikiing. We then see Erica walk up, and Erica is nervous. She's a little uncomfortable. You know, Lisa Rinna ain't here no more. They fired her. They showed the email of her quitting, but it's given, girl. Either you can quit and go out the way you want to go out, or we can fire you and it be that. It be that, okay? So they show that email of Lisa Rinna pretty much sending in her resignation. And a lot of people noted that the date of the resignation was before BravoCon. So while she was at BravoCon, I guess she already knew she was dipping out. That's why she didn't care about what she was saying. I don't know. So Erica pretty much says, like, you know, as she's walking up to the retreat area, that she was like, I know last year I was a lot. I was defensive. I was just going through a lot. And so she was like, I'm here on the island by myself and I just have to get it together. You even see her do the Catholic, like, signing over her body. And she walks in and everyone's like, oh my God, Erica. Mind you, Erica looks skinny as hell and I don't like it. But that's just me. Her body, her choice. But I don't like it. And Everyone's like, girl, you are skinny, like really skinny. And next thing you know, everyone's like, girl, what you been doing? Erica's like, I'm on some good hormones. You got to read in the confessionals, our hormones spelled, and she ends up spelling Ozempic. And she was like, girl, what? I don't know what Erica on. It could be hormones. It could be Ozempic. Like I said, it's her body, her choice. I don't think it's that scandalous, but I will say we've been seeing too many people on Ozempic who shouldn't be on it, and you see the consequences. Y'all Google Sharon Osbourne. That lady looks scary as hell. Scary as hell. She already was scary before. So while they're all like in the little retreat area, because it's an outdoor indoor kind of establishment, there's like horses and everything. They're somewhere up in the mountains. You never, you know, you see Blue Raven and Eagle Woman walking. Y'all, it gave kind of cult vibes. I'm sorry. And like I just needed something. Like she was like, oh, look at the rock. It's our grandfather. I feel like they're playing in the indigenous people's culture, and I don't like it. But everybody's just waiting for, Eagle Woman and Blue Raven to start the retreat. You hear the beating of the drums like, oh yeah, oh it's and everybody's like, what? You got Garcel in her confessional being like, what the hell? And mind you, I'm not gonna lie, that's something I would say. When Garcel said it, I screamed. I'd have been like, what is going on? So she beating the drum. Sutton and Erica, you gotta them looking at this whole situation like, girl, what is this? What is this? What does Dorit have us doing? The lady beating on the drums, they're following behind her, and then they finally sit outside in this like underneath a tent area. It was like a really nice setup. And the Eagle Woman gives her spiel about, hey, this is a retreat where we're trying to mend relationships, we're trying to rebuild connections, we're trying to help everybody move forward. So so please be open and honest. So Dorit takes this opportunity to let Erica know, the way you was acting at BravoCon and what you said about me and my husband, I ain't like that, and you deeply hurt me and offended me. So while Dorit is, pouring out her feelings to Erica, Erica kind of has this smug look on her face. And basically what Dorit explains is that at BravoCon, and I remember seeing this clip, Erica was asked, it was like that super huge panel that had all the housewives and a few other Bravo celebrities sprinkled in. But Erica was asked, like, who in your group do you think is headed for Splitsville? Like, who do you think is going to be the next next couple to like get a divorce or split up? Erica at first didn't want to answer the question. She was like, no, that's mean. Like, she was trying to play like she didn't want to answer it. She was like, I really feel like, she was like, I don't really want to answer this question. I feel bad about the answer. I really don't want to answer it. But then everybody else was like, no, like not even everybody else. When I mean everybody else, I mean the fans. Like the people in the crowd in the audience were like, no, come on. And they were gassing Erica up. So then Erica was like, okay, cool, I'ma do it. So she gets up like Dorit acted in her confessional, head bobbling, weaver shaking, stood very strong and tall and said PK and Dorit. And then she walked back to her little seat and she sat down, crossed them legs with this look on like, yeah, I did that. Because I think she enjoyed it. Because after she said PK and Dorit, the audience low-key went wild and was like, oh, like, you know what I mean? And I think that made Erica feel good. And Dorit pointed it out. She was like, what I saw was someone seeking attention. Then Erica's like, girl, I'm a showman. And Dorit was like, no, you're a bitch. And she said that in her confessional. And I agree. Like, there's no amount of social pressure that would make me be shady towards a friend. Like somebody I genuinely considered a friend. There's really isn't any amount of social pressure to do that. If I don't rock with you, yeah, I'm embarrassing you. I'm talking bad about you. But if we really are cool and we're good, then I'm not doing that to you. And the thing about it is, I really feel like Erica did that because she still was harboring resentment and anger towards the group about how they treated her last season, about her whole situation with the victims and with Tom's case. Because she then ends up... before she started crying and breaking down, she gonna ask Dorit, is your marriage strong? Mind you, had this had been any other franchise, I feel like Erica would have got red for filth and possibly a snatch to the head. like a smooth grab and a snatch to the head because girl, what? Why, girl, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like had she been on even Salt Lake City, if she was on Salt Lake City, Atlanta, Miami, Potomac, is that it? They can't do it in Dubai. They can't do it in Dubai. Like, I feel like any of those like franchises I just named, or even I don't know, New York, she would have got cussed out. New York, yeah, they would have cussed her out. Not with these new girls. The new lot of Real Housewives of New York girls. No, no, maybe Uber might have snatched her up, and maybe even Bryn. But I'm trying to think, or Psy. The old ladies probably would have yanked her. Would have yanked. But I was just like, Erica, what? So then Dorit was like, that's not the point. Like, girl, what you said offended me and my marriage is strong. Like, what are you talking about? So then all of a sudden, Erica starts to break down. Mind you, it got weird because she wasn't looking at anybody. She was just crying and she pretty much said that like she loves everybody in this group. Last year was really hard for her. She felt like she couldn't breathe. She felt uber defensive. She just felt like she was unseen and unheard. Like nobody was really trying to give her any room. And like she's sorry for the way she behaved. I think that's probably why she said the thing about BravoCon, because I really think she felt like Dorit really wasn't on her side the way she wanted her to be. But if you go back last season, Dorit was like really trying to help Erica out. And it was like Erica just was in that state of mind of where it was like everybody is the enemy and everybody's against me. And she really she wasn't trying to take advice. And mind you, we've talked about this last season. I understand why Erica didn't want to show remorse, especially from a legal standpoint. A lot of people have said like the moment you start to show remorse, people start to be like, oh, you're guilty. But I don't know. I feel like there could have been a way for her to be her to show remorse and not implicate herself. Like I told y'all last season, the white gays was going up for Erica. Not no more, I don't think, because I heard Willem and what's her name, Alaska from RuPaul's Drag Race, they was dragging, and Willem drags, okay? Willem stay dragging, been dragging since the early 2000s, okay? At least for me and what I've seen of Willem. And Willem dragged her about her Las Vegas show and everything. So I don't know if they cool with her anymore. But during the time that they were cool with her, that part of the community was cool with her. I was like, if Erica would have did a benefit concert for the victims, baby, the amount of money she would have grossed, and it probably would have gave her good like brownie points in the public. She probably wouldn't have been going through the turmoil that she's going through now. But the issue is Erica didn't show any care or any empathy. She just came off really nasty and mean in a lot of people's eyes. So she apologizes. You see Kyle get up and hug her because she's crying. And then the Eagle woman is like, this is wonderful. Let's keep going. Everyone take a deep breath. So then Kyle's like, can I go next? And she talks about what happened between her sister and Lisa Rinna, where, you know, she's just like, it was a lot. She was like, I was breaking down. I felt like none of y'all had my back. You know, I'm crying. And then when I look up, everyone just has these looks of like, oh, it is what it is, and I expected more from y'all. She then says she expected more from Sutton. They do a montage of Sutton being at Kathy's party, and Kyle's like, you know, well, Kathy, I know Sutton is a very social person, so I know she wanted to go to those parties. Honestly, the truth is, Kyle, you were you weren't a good friend to Sutton last season, so I don't understand why you expect this type of loyalty from her. Like, Kyle, you threw Sutton under the bus a couple of times. So to expect her to be on your side is weird. It's very weird to me. But she's crying. You know, Dorit gets up to sit next to her. And they show a flashback of all the, like, you know, what Lisa Rinna alleges that Kathy said, calling Dorit stupid, calling Sutton and Crystal dumb and wastes of space and all of this stuff. Honestly, even though that's alleged by Lisa Rinna, I can see Kathy Hilton saying those things. I know a lot of y'all were buying her hunky dory act, but when I watched that Paris Hilton documentary, I was like, and if you look at the Paris Hilton show that they had, I think it's on Peacock. Is it on Peacock? I think it is on Peacock. The vibes that Kathy Hilton gives, and then the way that she does treat Kyle, gives very much so like what I say go. I'm a very stoic and sometimes very mean person when she wants to be. Y'all, a lot of people just don't like Kyle, and they're not willing or able to give her grace because they can't see beyond who they feel she is, which is vile. But I can see Kathy being nasty. And I can see Kathy having outbursts. The way we've seen Kyle have an outburst, and Kim, and y'all know I love Kim Richards down on this channel. But Kim get nasty. I will never forget her. Well, let's talk about the husband. Giving back that teddy bear to Lisa Rinna, that rabbit to Lisa Rinna. So if those two can give that type of energy, I know for a fact the older sister gives it to everybody the worst. So I believe that. So then Kyle just talks, she's talking, and Garcel chimes in and she pretty much says, well, it was hard to help you when it was your anger wasn't towards the people coming at your family. And Kyle's like, Garcel, what you not getting? Me and my sister are not that close like that. We have a lot of issues, sis. Why would I defend somebody that's hurting me? And so Kyle was just like, I got tired of being being her punching bag. I'm not doing that. And she was like, she attacked my family. And so then Kyle's just they do the montage where she was like, I don't like when my sister calls, because when she calls, she only calls to rant. It gives me anxiety. They then do a flashback of where Kyle and Kathy were talking, and she pretty much Kathy is like, I feel like I'm pestering you when I call. And Kyle's like, well, girl, when you do call, it's always negative. It's like you're ranting. So it feels like Kathy only be calling Kyle to get her frustrations off. And in all honesty, that does get old very quickly. And if you're somebody who doesn't do well with that type of stuff, it can cause anxiety. So Kyle was just like, it was just too much. And she was just like, it was just a lot. So then Sutton ends up breaking up the, Kyle crying by saying, it seems like a lot of us have regrets about what happened last season, but I'm hoping we can move forward and be in a better place. And they ended it there. It seemed like everyone got what they wanted from the retreat. So we then go over to Sutton's, or her actual boutique. We see her there with her assistant, Avi. He seems really sweet. And he seems like the scene of him, when Sutton's in the confessional, and she was like, what else does Avi do? And she was like, well, he's my house manager. Avi was like, I'm the property manager. I'm this manager. I'm house of operations. I'm Mr. Everything. I said, okay, Avi, Mr. Everything. I like him. So they're sitting down, and she was like, we have a little horse situation. And Avi was like, girl, define horse. And Sutton is like, I'm half Texan. I said, girl, you half white? Because what does that mean? What does that mean, Sutton? So Sutton's like, I'm half Texan. I grew up with horses, and I saw a horse, and I bought him over, over line. And, I wanted to, she was like, some people think it's crazy. Some people will be like, because Sutton wants to get back into riding. She was like, some people would have been like, you could just lease a horse. But I bought a horse offline overseas. I said, have you seen the horse? Because that could be fake. We then see Jennifer Tilly. I love her voice. I don't care what nobody says. I have loved her voice since Hey Arnold. She was in one, and I remember that episode. She was in one of the episode where she was trying to date Ernie. I think Ernie was supposed to be a representation of a little person, but I don't know. Off of Hey Arnold, the guy who he did Demolitions, and he meets old girl. Oh my God, I just remember her, how her voice is so distinct that I remember falling in love with her voice when I was that young, watching Hey Arnold. So we found out that Jennifer Tilly and Sutton have been friends for 10 years. They go on vacations and everything together. And she was just like saying, it's like, when we get together, I don't know why, but we get stupid. But that's my girl. That's my girl. Jennifer has a good relationship with Avi. They're talking about, Avi, next time we go to Paris, you got to come again. And they were like, I don't know if he gonna be wanting to go, because we was always like, get our luggage, Avi. You gotta take better pictures, Avi. We trying to do a TikTok, Avi. And so it was funny. So then they sit down, her and Jennifer, and they're talking. And Sutton just talks about having financial freedom from her ex-husband. And the reason, girl, Sutton is getting $300,000. I don't know if that's a month, every 2 months, every year. I don't know. But $300,000. 300K. Girl, dreams. She living my dream. From her ex-husband and spousal support. Girl, I ain't. And I was happy Sutton said, I'm not ashamed of that. Girl, I wouldn't be either. I wouldn't be either. But basically, she talked about how her and her husband got together. Sutton and her husband got married, I think it said in like 2000. Yeah, they got married in 2000. They were high school sweethearts, I think. And then they ended up getting a divorce and stuff like that. She said she got pregnant. Her husband basically said, I don't want you to work anymore. And then instead of her working, it turned into an allowance. And then one day, I guess he got mad and took the allowance away. And Sutton was like, whoa. Like, what kind of predicament have I gotten myself into? So now she's just kind of like, I want to be able to be financially free. Like, where I don't have to, she's like, I'm not going to get rid of my spousal support, girl. I'm not doing that. Because she's like, I'm not ashamed of it. But she was like, I want to be able to take care of myself without him. Probably like, that spousal support is like just, my party money. My let me go buy a new car type of money. But Sutton just pretty much said like, yeah, like it kind of is an anchor. And I understand that, not wanting to be tied, but she also says she wants to make her business thrive so she can throw it in her husband's face. And maybe she was like, because they were high school sweethearts, maybe there's still a piece of her that's like, I need to prove to you that I don't need you for this to work. I need to prove to you that I have always and will forever be the woman that you married in 2000 and it just didn't go away because I ended up having kids and being your wife. And some people need that validation. If I was her, I wouldn't give a damn because we're not together and I'm getting 300K. I'm set for life. But I get wanting to prove a point to people. But Sutton pretty much says, I'm strong enough. It was a line from Cher, and she's just like, yeah, I'm gonna let it do what it do and show him I'm not to be played with. Also, y'all, I did not mention Sutton. Oh, when the whole situation was happening at the Ponderosa, at the little Ponderosa, where when Erica asked Sutton, asked Dorit, is your marriage strong enough? They went to a confessional of Sutton where Sutton said, the only thing I've ever heard about PK is when he had that DUI situation, there was another woman in the car. But that's all I've heard. That's really all I've heard. That's the rumor that I've heard. I said, Sutton, that might come back to bite you in the ass come the time of the reunion. But hey. All right, y'all. So the next scene we get is of Erica meeting with Dr. Mann. I want to know how long Dr. Mann has been on TV. Because I remember she was on that show. Was it like Celebrity Family Boot Camp or something? I don't know. I just remember she's always been on TV being somebody's therapist. She's the white version of, what's that lady, that other doctor, that black lady doctor that was on Braxton's Family Values and on Atlanta. I think she was Portia's anger management coach. Like, it's a couple of these therapists that be doing rounds. But pretty much they sit down and they're talking. And Erica is just talking about how Dr. Mann has been her therapist since last year. She feels like she's in a better place. She realizes the anxiety, the anger, and all that stuff, through therapy has been able to help her prioritize and categorize her feelings to where she was like, I don't need to feel that way all the time. So she's happy that she's continuing therapy. She also talks about how she was in one of the most unsupportive relationships and then Tom got indicted. I don't know if Erica's been married before, but Tom seemed really supportive. Like, it seems like he was funding your lifestyle with them people's money. And so I don't know if she was talking about him, but she also talked about Tom getting indicted and how like the therapist said you might end up mourning again. You know, you had the death of that relationship, and you know Tom is older and his health is waning, and he might go on. I was about to say go on to glory, but I don't know where that man going. I don't know where that man going after what he did. So she was like, yeah. She then talks about her relationship with Dorit and how her friends, and she was like, hurt people, and the therapist was basically like, you're gonna have to put you're gonna have to put your feet in their shoes. Like, you went through something last year, that doesn't negate that they went through something this year or going through something this year. Then Erica is like, how do I do that? I'm like, Erica, you are damn near 50. How old is Erica? Let's see how old Erica is. Erica Jane. Erica, you're 52. What do you mean you don't know what empathy is? Girl, that's why people think you crazy on the low. Because someone on Twitter was like, people who can't feel empathy are low-key psychopaths. That's a trait of a psychopath. Yeah, girl, I was like, Erica, and that's weird because Erica can feel empathy because you wanted everybody to empathize with you. So you know what empathy is. You was just playing stupid. They then do a montage of the ladies talking about, it was like Sutton on FaceTime with Garcel and then Crystal with her husband, and they were talking about Erica, where they were like, I think Erica was being the way she was last year because, she wanted to make sure that she was vindicated, or like she wasn't linked to all these things. And I don't know, if Tom passes away, is she going to be responsible for his debt or something? Maybe that's why. They also talk about the whole Lexapro thing, about Erica being drunk and cussing at, I think his name is Jaden, because it's Jaden and Jax. I think Jaden is Garcel's son with the blonde hair, and Jax is the one with the dark hair. That situation with them, and like her cussing at him, and she's like, I'm not doing that anymore. But the therapist basically says, if you want a better life, you need to start taking the high road. You took the low road with people and it got you nowhere, and now start taking the high road and see how that works out for you. We then get a scene of Kyle going over to PK and Dorit's house. They're sitting down. It's Dorit and Kyle. They're eating pizza and salad. And Dorit we end up finding out that Kyle hasn't been drinking. Like, she stopped drinking. I think she says she's like 7 months of not drinking, and she says she feels better, she feels clean. She was like, she realized drinking is no longer, like, alcohol no longer serves her, so she's not in that place anymore. They do the flashback with lip licking Diana and Sutton when Kyle was like grabbing on Sutton at Garcel's birthday party, and so she was like, yeah, I didn't like the way I was feeling. And Kyle basically said she tired of taking everybody's trash. Like, she was like, and you notice she never said that she didn't believe that Kathy said those things about her. She was just like, I did nothing wrong for Kathy to whack out like that. Like, I did nothing wrong. And she was like, and I'm tired of feeling like I do things wrong. She was like, Kathy has always been one to have those outbursts. I'm the baby of the family, and I let her get away with it. And it's like, I don't want to question my older sister because that's my big sister. But she was just like, I'm not dealing with that anymore. And then Dorit talks about, her situation with the PTSD of what happened with the break-in last season. Some people don't believe it's real, but we gonna err on the side that it is real. And she talks about how PK being away really messed with her, and how she was just like, I've been with PK for 13 years. I've never felt so disconnected from him. But she was like, we're working on getting back to each other. Honestly, I don't know what Dorit wanted PK to do. Maybe he could have taken a few days off to stay with her. But the world doesn't stop spinning, and y'all not making that much money, especially with the blogs always being filled with like saying that they got a tax lien allegedly and that they owe people and stuff like that. PK gonna have to make some money somehow. So you just gonna have to figure it out. You just gonna have to figure it out, my girl. We're just gonna have to figure it out. But I hope she does figure out, because like having PTSD is not fun. And I commend Kyle for saying she's not gonna allow people to walk all over her anymore. I know some people don't like Kyle. I keep saying, but I can see there's issues. There that sisterhood that's over there, ain't something wrong with it. So we then get this scene of Garcelle and her sons going on a picnic. And while they're sitting on the picnic, she's pretty much checking in with her kids, trying to figure out how are they feeling. They're on the beach, and what we find out, just like the condensed version of it, is that the boys aren't really big fans of being bussed back and forth between their parents. I guess it's like 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off. I don't know. I thought their dad lived in LA or wherever they stay, but I guess not. Jaden, the one that has the blonde hair, was saying how like it's boring there. He also has a cute girlfriend. Her name is Ashlyn. He was over there like carving her name in a block of wood. I was like, oh, this little boy is smitten. He is smitten. It's adorable. I think they're only like 15 or 16, but they're cute. We find out that Jax, the one that has the dark hair, pretty much said that like he feels like Garcelle doesn't give them enough freedom. Garcelle feels like she gives them plenty of freedom. She then talks about how like the boys voice their concerns about how they miss her. Like they don't like that she works so much. And she was like, you can tell me that. I don't know if it would change anything, but you can tell me that. And I feel like sometimes you just need to tell your parents how you feel. I also like the fact that she's fostering an environment where they can be open and honest with them. I'm at the age that I'm at, and at times it was cringy the way my parents created that environment for me and my sibling. But it was just kind of like, as you get older, you realize how important that is to have open communication with your parents where you can come to them and confide in them. Like my mom always asked me and my sister, like, do you think am I doing a good job as being your parent? Like, are there things that we need to change? And I mean, my dad doesn't do that, but like if my mom says there's an issue, normally my dad will course correct, you know what I mean? But pretty much they're twins. The brown hair one, Jax, pretty much said he felt like Garcelle hasn't been the greatest mom. And whatever she whatever he said, the way that Jaden turned around and looked at his brother like, what are you talking about? Like, that's a bit much. Hold up. Like, ease up on the gas, big bruh. Ease up. But pretty much, Jax feels like he's done with her being a parent. He said that he needed her 2 years ago, which if they're 16 or 15 now, that would mean 2 years ago would be when they were 14 and 13. But I'm like, sweetheart, you didn't know how to pump gas. You still need someone to teach you. I mean, as you get older, the mothering changes. It's like what my dad says to me. He was like, once you turn 18, I can no longer really tell you what to do, but I can advise you and give you advice. Like, it's no longer I'm telling you what to do because you're an adult. So I feel as though it was a nice conversation, but it also makes me feel like this whole, I got where Jax was coming from, being like, man, I want freedom. Because at that age, I remember being like, girl, I'm 16. I'm about to get this driver's license. I should be able to do what I do when I want, how I want. But when you get older, you start to realize that, like, no, you're still a child. At that age, you're still a child. And it does kind of feel like maybe, because I saw a lot of people saying they felt like maybe the dad was, like, influencing him. But I don't think that's what it is. It's kind of given that, like, maybe he's a little resentful for how things have been going in their life thus far. And he, like they said, they don't like being bussed back and forth, as well as it doesn't seem like Garcelle is around a lot. And maybe he just wants her to be around more. But he kind of contradicted himself where he was like, you want freedom, but then you're also asking for your mom to be around more. Because to me, I guess in my mind, to me saying I want freedom means like I'm on my own more. And maybe that's not what he means, but that's how I interpreted it. But the conversation seemed like it was a good one. And they both I think she's doing a good job. Like, parenting isn't easy because you're parenting a whole human being. But I like the fact that she realizes that you can't parent one kid one way and parent the other way. There has to be like specific rules and regulations you give to them for each one, like that caters towards the needs that they need, pretty much. The last scene is Mauricio and Kyle. It looks like they're both extremely busy. Mauricio was on the phone at the house trying to figure out how to work his schedule. Kyle's trying to tell him to hurry up, being very impatient because I'm like, you see him on the phone, chill out. They sit down in the den area, and I'm just saying that because I don't like when people rush me off the phone. Like, girl, we'll talk when we talk. We live in the same house. Calm down. But they sit down in the den area, and he talks about, he's going to Portugal. That's during, I think she said Portia's like spring break. Do you want to come? She's like, no, I got a lot of stuff going on. He then notices like her tattoos, and he thought she only had 3, but she got 5. And Kyle was like, back in the day, he would have noticed a freckle on my body, but now he's not really paying attention to me. And she even said, she was like, maybe if you paid attention more, you would have known I got more tattoos. And he kind of looked at her like, ooh. So as Kyle is like showing the tattoos, Mauricio is like, girl, you think that's enough? Because Kyle is like making a comment like, I think I'm gonna get another one. And then he started calling her Love Bean, and I think maybe that's the pet name he gave to her. And he was like, baby, that's too much. Like, let it, like, stop. And she's like, I don't have to run nothing by you. This is my body. And he was like, yeah, I get that, but like, girl, chill out. And so she then ends up saying, like, I don't know what it is, but I'm at this time where I'm like, I don't want to take orders from nobody. I took orders from my sister. I got married, and I thought I could be I thought being the perfect wife would do this, and this, or being the perfect mother if I did this or I did that. And ultimately it got me nowhere. Like, things still went to shit. And so Mauricio is like, well, don't do these things because you want to be rebellious. Do these things because you want to do them. And he's like looking at her very like, girl, what does this mean? And Kyle's like, well, she was like, I'm seeing things very clearly. I don't know. Maybe drinking opened up her eyes and she gonna get a divorce from him. But I also feel like what I've been seeing in the blogs is contradictory to the energy that is kind of Kyle showing here. Because here, you're kind of acting like it doesn't seem like you want to fix this, kind of. But then in the blogs, you're upset because you see Mauricio walking around holding hands with his Dancing with the Stars partner. All the while, everybody's seeing you coupled up with your lesbian lover, And they could just be friends, but I have bisexual friends and gay friends, and I ain't never that cozy with them like that. That was giving very much like we've messed around type of energy. So it's like, do you want to be together or you don't want to be together? And it does get to the point where y'all are like drifting apart, but maybe they have drifted apart where they can't come back to each other. But I do feel if they do get a divorce, Kyle can't be mad if Mauricio moves on, and neither can Mauricio be mad if Kyle moves on. A lot of people feel like this is like a PR kind of thing. I don't think it is. I'm kind of like 55-45. Like 55% of me feels like this is like they might actually be separated and they might be heading towards a divorce. And 45% of me thinks like maybe this might not be true. Like maybe, but the confusion in Mauricio's eyes when she was like, you can't tell me what to do or you don't tell me what to do. And he was kind of like, why are you taking it there kind of energy? Kind of make me feel like, nah, maybe Kyle is kind of done with this marriage and she wants to move on. It's kind of giving that. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and hop down in them comments below. Deuces.